5 of the World Chess Championship between Gukesh and Ding Liren has ended in a stalemate. And now you're in this attritional middle phase period of the World Chess Championships where players might want to take it safe, players might not want to take any kind of a risk. And because of that, today's game was a perfect illustration of that yet again. Gukesh with white pieces was playing with the French defense exchange. Now, in that, what happens is that there is a pretty early exchange of queens. The early exchange of queens ensures that 75 to 80% of the time, the French defense is a kind of a drawish opening. And because of that, both players decided that, okay, let us exchange the queens pretty early. And because of that, the position meandered out into a rather very close, you may say this wasn't a very easy kind of game for Gukesh, because what happened is he wanted to take one piece with the pawn. Now what happened with that, Ding got an opening and the bar showed that Ding was slightly better when it came to creating the pressure situation. But then luckily Gukesh held on despite having a superior pawn advantage. The exchange of rooks meant that yes, this game had to peter out to a draw, and because of that, Gukesh versus Ding Liren, it was a high pressure situation for Gukesh because he apparently had blundered at that point, but Ding also made a small blunder when he pushed the bishop back to the c file, and that is why it was kind of a odd situation. Why didn't Ding go and take the piece? Gukesh also tried to consolidate his pawn structure, and that is why when you're down to just a bishop, 5 pawns in the case of Gukesh and 4 pawns in the case of Ding, then you just had the king. It was very difficult to maintain that balance, and that's why both guys, after repetition of moves, after move 40, they decided to ensure that the game would be drawn, and that is why after 5 games it is still 2.5 points each to both Ding and Gukesh. So it was a very solid play from both. It was not a perfect game for Ding and Gukesh when you look at it. Some blunders were made, but those blunders weren't that huge that would cost them the game. It wasn't like the rook blunder that Ding had made in game number 3, which saw him lose that advantage and come back, and that's why Gukesh came back on level terms. So quite a good game it was for both the world champion and the Indian Grandmaster, the contender that was there. So looking at the current situation now, it is a very even situation, and this phase of the World Chess Championship, I don't see anybody making that much of a big run to it unless there is a major blunder. Now tomorrow is game 6, and there you will see Gukesh with the black pieces. Then after that, you're going to see one more rest day that happens in between. So this is going to be a very interesting cycle now, because World Championships, this is the prime reason now where which player holds the nerve, because 6 games are done. It is not even the halfway stage. 7th game will be the halfway stage, and then from that point on, it is all the question of stress, who handles it better, who handles it everywhere. So that is why this is a huge situation. So Gukesh and Ding Liren have kind of gotten into the groove now, 2.5 points to each. Let's see how the situation improves from that point on from tomorrow, because tomorrow is game 6. Then after that, you've got a rest day. We will then analyze as to how things have gone on. And remember, it's happened today in Magnus Carlsen's birthday. And Magnus Carlsen had some things to say about Gukesh when he said the decisions that he took were really not good. But then Gukesh handled it with tremendous maturity. And in the press conference, he stated that, yes, it's quite good that he's done it. So that's why fantastic achievement indeed for Domaraju Gukesh to have held on for a draw. Not a very good position, but then he held his nerve and ensured that it was a draw. So lots to fight for still. 2.5 points apiece for Gukesh and Ding. Let's see how it pans out now. Tomorrow's game 6. And then after that, you have a rest day. Then you will continue the remainder of the thing. So November has kind of ended on an equal footing with Gukesh and Ding. Let's see how it carries on in December. Then you will be in the last 2 weeks of the World Chess Championship. How that pans out, let's see. Nishant Agrawal is a small session. Come live after press conference, so you know the mindset of players. But then Nishant, the problem is the press conferences will happen, but then the time by which it finishes, unfortunately, you have to give the news update at that point in time, because it's a draw, it's a win, it's a loss. People want to be updated at that particular point in time. And once when I did that, you didn't get, many people didn't join in because everybody knew the result at that time. So that's the way I'm looking at it. So chess game number 5, World Chess Championship, Gukesh and Ding Liren held out for a draw. And now you're going to see game number 6 tomorrow, Gukesh with black pieces. Let's see how that pans out. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. Bye.